Eh, do you know I went to Puerto Rico?
Sí, yo vi el video, man. Creo que vi el primero.
Eso me ha
Vi el
dejado un
primero que hiciste.
poco, I don't know, mano. Las cosas no están bien, dejar la familia ya
Ujú,
no me gustó mucho. Let me share this real quick here. So, boom,
ujú,
I'm going to share this right now. I'm going to call it coffee time. Coffee time with Juan and Angel. Call and talk tech, freelancing. Let's see, aquí está. Lo estoy compartiendo ahora. So, coffee break with Juan and Angel. Boom. Let's see. Let's talk tech, beer, freelancing, and others more and more. Boom. So boom, boom, and boom. Share now. Boom.
ujú.
I think I wrote freelancing wrong, but that's okay. So how you doing, Juan?
Pretty good, man. Working hard, staying busy.
Did you make the move? Did you make the move, or you still working for the company?
On Wednesday. On Wednesday, I'm done.
You're done.
So yeah, I'm
So
still here, but pretty much tomorrow. Tomorrow's like the last actual date, and then Wednesday,
so
I'm
what,
done.
so you're going 100% online, or you're gonna try to go and work for somebody else?
I don't know. I'm still kind of debating a lot of things, to be honest with you. Because and I was telling this to someone, like I don't have a problem like working for someone. I actually have a lot of fun, but I do know that I need to start some things, and I already have some things like kind of like going, and actually maybe in the future I want to show you some things and I want to get your opinion. But it's mainly right now I'm just trying to, I don't know, figure out my next move. I have something, and I was actually talking to the family about that, and there's something that we are kind of excited about. So I think for that, I'm gonna need to get a job, but that doesn't mean I need to get my side hustle 100% regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's because I think I'm in a point right now where it's not either one or the other, but I feel like it has to be both. You know what I mean? So that I could eventually do only online work, which which is kind of what I want to do. But at the same, I mean, you know what I mean? There's just a lot of things in my mind that there's not clear. And
Uh,
so, but I'm just kind of being honest about like how I'm looking at everything.
no, no, and I think you're doing it better than a lot of people that I have met. Unintentionally, while I was in the military, I kept doing. I said unintentionally because people that know me closely, they knew that I wanted to get out of the military a long time ago, but I just stuck to it. I learned a lot, it made me grow as a person, and I had really great experiences. Um, and you are able to help and do other stuff that are and serve things that are above you, and they're greater than yourself, like make a big impact. But I got up early and stayed up late just doing the side hustle until one day I just said, okay, this is my last day in the military, or I'm starting my vacation now, and I'm going 100% online. And I was blessed that with the time I cultivated those relationships and uh, projects and jobs and started to land it in my lap. So um, if you just do it constantly, even if it's not big, but you lay, like you said, you laid your roadmap, everything's gonna fall into place. You just gotta stick to it. So
Yeah,
let
definitely. And
go ahead, go ahead, go
and
ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
No, no.
no, and this whole situation kind of like I question myself. And the big question that like, the big thing that I'm questioning myself is what is it that I really want? You know what I mean? And I was actually asking my wife that. I'm like, because you know, right now I'm at a point where I can make different decisions. You know what I mean? Because I'm not grabbing onto certain things. Once I don't have those options, I'm in a position where I'm asking myself, what is it that I really, really want? Like, what is it that like I really want for my life in the next 10 years, right? And based on those things, because you might think you want something, like you might think you want to have this agency, and or you might build this business, or you might want think you want to have this house, this kind of lifestyle. But this few weeks, I've just been like really like thinking and asking the family, like, what is it that really makes me happy, and maybe take this opportunity to pursue that. You know what I mean?
It's
Um,
no, I completely get what you mean. For me, it was and being completely transparent. For me, it was at the early age or early beginnings. It was a money driver. I wanted to make money, but the more I read, the more I studied, the more I learned to know myself. It wasn't about the money. So, long story short, now that I'm done and I'm here settling, I had a job offer and I declined, and it was a really, really good job offer, really good money. And I had a lot of people that know me. I can show you the text somebody sent me, and actually, an audio message. He said, because I told the person, somebody that I respect, another business owner, I said, I'm comfortable. I got a really good lifestyle. And that's what I want. I want the lifestyle business. And he replied, Angel, fuck the lifestyle, make that money, enjoy the lifestyle
mm,
later. He kind of pretty much yelled at me in an audio message, but I'm really enjoying the lifestyle. So things will change. You might think that, like you said, you want an agency now, but in 2 3 years, something happened. You grow. You have different feelings, and or you don't have the same passion or driving, and then your desire move. But I think as long as you have something that you can move forward, like your north, your true north, I think
yeah,
you're gonna be golden.
exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's just sorry. It kind of what I'm thinking, man. It's just like you might like you desire to do something, but at the end, maybe that's not what you really want. Maybe what you want, because it's not about like or money, like us having like a specific lifestyle and sustaining that, and giving experiences to your kids. So that's where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? I like my life.
Juan, you got caught up there, and the last thing that I didn't get the last thing, and your video image also.
Fun, like actually, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You hear me good?
The image came back. Yeah, the image came back. You sound a little bit chopped up, but we got the last part. So let me ask you a question. I know you play around with a lot of
Am
tech.
I lagging?
Huh?
Ugh. Can you say that again?
I know you play a lot with tech gear and cameras. I know you have a G85. Is that your favorite camera right now?
It's a really good camera. I'm not losing you, right? You
No,
hear
I
me well?
got you.
Okay, I was thinking. Okay, so it's not my favorite camera. It's like I don't think it's the best camera, but it is a really good camera, man. It's a lot of it's a lot of fun. But I just feel like with every camera that you get, you're gonna and this is what I tell everybody. This is what I always tell people. You name a brand. I don't care. Sony, Canon, Panasonic, Nikon, Fuji, you name it. Right now, we're in a point of like in tech that any camera that you choose, it's gonna be able to create incredible footage with just you name it. Like so, but at the same time, every single company has they just have like their little problems. You know what I mean? Just like their little like issues. So with the G85, it's an incredible camera, man. Like I love what Panasonic is doing. Um, but you know, then again, the camera is missing. But all the companies have it. It has things to have. You know what I mean? So it's definitely not the best camera in the world, but it's worked out really good for me.
So from all the cameras you use, what's your favorite so far?
Of what I've used,
Yeah.
uh, of what I've used, oh man, that's a tough one because the G85, I like the pictures. The picture quality, it's incredible. I like the IVIS from the camera, and I just like how like the image quality, beautiful. But then I've used, for example, the Sony A6500. That's a really cool camera to use, but then it has some drawbacks that like they're frustrating. But then again, you have other features that no other cameras have.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. But then I also use a lot of Canon. I'll give you an answer.
For
My favorite camera overall is the, that I've used that I think it's like if there's the one camera I have no other chance would be the Canon G7X.
I think
That's the
I think you and I are in the same boat with point and shoots. My favorite camera is the Sony RX100.
yeah, that's a great camera.
You know, it just for a solo shooter, the flip screen is the most. I gotta have the flip screen. Yeah, you can have external monitors and all kinds of crazy stuff, but I want to travel light and I don't want to keep packing more gear. So when I bought the G7, I wanted a second camera that recorded 4K with a flip screen, but I didn't want to spend another $3,000 or $4,000. And I'm very pleased with the image quality of the G7. You know, it's light. It takes great pictures. I bought the 25 mil 1.7, and that's a great lens.
Oh, that's a beautiful lens.
And
That's a beautiful lens.
I'm very, very happy. But I do have a question about the G85. Have you shot long interviews with the G85? Meaning, I'm debating if I do a lot of interviews in person, and I'm debating if I buy a camcorder. I know I can do it with the GH5, but I'm trying to stay away from just for interviews. I think a GH5 is overkill right now for what I want to do, especially for two cameras.
It is a beautiful camera, but yeah, it could be a little bit like, you know, too much.
You know, you do if your livelihood is to shoot long. If you want cameras that you shot long long videos with two 128 gig cards, maybe. But right now it's not in my purchase plan. But my question is, what camera have you used? Let me ask you, have you recorded long interviews with camera without having to reset every 30 minutes?
Not long interviews, but I did shoot a long concert, and I just like literally put the camera on a tripod, let it run. It was the G85, and oh yeah, like no problem. Like I shot like maybe like an hour and a half. So what the camera does is it cuts the files, and I think every 29 minutes it cuts the file, but it starts another file right away. Like it's pretty much like seamless. So at the end, you're gonna have like 4 or 5 files, but you could and on editing put them back together, no problem, no gaps. So because you see, like it's so hard to say like this is the one camera, but the G85 it is kind of like a workhorse. You know what I mean? Versus like the G7X is more like a like a camera you can just take with you everywhere. It's just very accessible. But yeah, that I love that about like the Panasonic. Like, really, I don't know if you know this, but the whole um, recording limit, that's not a technical problem. That is a tax problem.
Yes, I know. It's different in the UK with the PAL and here in the state. Yeah, I know you can there. I've seen some hacks, but after spending money on a camera, I really hesitate to hack it and break it and lose it. I use the cameras every day.
Hmm. Yeah, and you can have external recorders, but like I said, no problem with the G85, no problem. I mean, like I said, I shot a long concert, a long concert, and the only reason why I stopped is because of the battery, and you can even fix that because you can buy a dummy battery connected to the power, and you get unlimited power source, and then your other limit will be your SD card. But if you get a big enough SD card, you're good. But yeah, like that was a test that I wanted to do because a lot of people ask about that. And this camera, like, yeah, you could just let it run.
So that sold it for me. That's sells it for me. I'm going to buy that one. I've been holding on the purchase because I wanted to ask that question. Something that it was bugging me that if anybody actually, I know it says it's weatherproof, it's sealed, but I wanted to see if somebody actually being inside the rain with that camera. Because here in Florida, it rains quite often, and I'm not planning to get wet, but just in case, the shooting for long periods of time, it was key for me. And I had another question.
So the
About
G7 doesn't do it. It has a recording limit.
So I haven't recorded I think I recorded, you know what? No, it doesn't have I recorded with a 64 gig card. I recorded more than 30 minutes, but I haven't recorded an hour.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah, I did an interview here, and I did a test. I did a test myself because I bought a 128 gig card, and with that one, I had problems with the G7. Then I put a 64 gig card, and it recorded longer than 30 minutes with the 64 gig card. So I don't know, and it's the same brand. I don't have it here, but it was the same brand of Lexmark, same brand of SD cards, and I had problem with the 128 gig, but with the 64 gig, I didn't have problems. So that's something that I wanted to test as well. Did you see? I don't know if you see my Instagram, but I got a new Pelican case for the for carry-ons.
Oh, nice.
It fits inside the plane.
Because what was I gonna say is also like the SD card makes a big difference in terms of the buffer, how fast it buffers. So if you got a pretty fast SD card and you're not shooting 4K, because maybe that could stop the SD card at any point. But if you have an SD card that's fast enough, you should be able to buffer like faster.
These ones are not at least 95. The ones that I use are at least 95. Yeah, 95 megabytes. So the ones that are working for me to shoot longer interviews is the Lexmark, this one, the Go one. They're about 95. But then I have a Lexmark in 128 gigs, which I don't know where I have the case, but what I was gonna say, that one I have problems. I have problem with the G7, but and the reason I ask is because I'm about to do. I like to travel light, so I don't like to travel. I don't like to take a lot of cameras. So typically, I would take my RX 100 because it's really easy, takes really good pictures, and I'm shooting raw. But also, when I'm traveling and I'm traveling light, like it's not for a production. It's just because I'm taking the cameras to maybe do a of the shooting somebody on an interview or taking some pictures on blogs. So I take one camera and the point and shoot. I do that. I try to do that. So if I know I'm going to interview, do some other stuff, then I might take the Osmo. I'm using the Osmo more often. And oh, you popped up another one there?
Yeah, I switched to the computer.
Yeah, I switched
Because this one's
computer.
on stopping. Hold on. Let me leave this one. Okay.
While you switch, let me see if I find the SD card so I can tell you. Oh, here it is.
Okay.
Okay. So the actual Lexmark is 150 megabytes, the 128, and with this one, I have problem with the G7. But with the other 64, the 64, and they're both say professional. It just the 128 is 150 megabytes, and then 64 is 95, which should be better in the 128. But we lost Juan for a little bit there. Let's see if he comes back. Let's see. Yeah, we lost him. Oh, anyway, while Juan comes here, let's see. Let me do this here. Things that talking about SD cards, I switched to a Pelican case because it protects it from the weather. So if it rains or anything crazy happens, I know my SD cards are safe. I used to use a cloth one with zipper, but I switched to the Pelican case. And also I bought a Pelican case, which is the model 1510. It's a kit that comes from B&H, and it fits inside the plane. So whenever I travel, I don't have to worry that my camera equipment is going to be stolen or broken. So I fly with that inside. And inside I can fit my Mavic Pro, my DJI Osmo, Raw Video Mic Pro, Zoom, H1 recorder. Let me see. Oh, Juan is lost the link. So let me send you the link here. Yeah, here. Boom. Boom. There you go. And yeah, I just sent the link to Juan again. In the Pelican case, at first looked small, but actually, once you start moving things around and you start putting the dividers, things fit. So I have a camera. I got plenty batteries for all the three cameras. So I'm taking, the way I have it right now, I'm taking the G7X, the G7 Panasonic G7, the RX100 with batteries, charger, cables, SD cards, DJI Osmo with batteries, charger, cables, the whole 9 yards. I'm taking a tripod inside the case, taking the Rode. Okay, so Juan is having problems. And let's see, I'm inviting Juan via email. Let's see. Okay, there you go. He's going to do it now. Boom. Let's see. Okay, so talking about, okay, so I fit everything here, and you can, if the suitcases get lost, you can always stop in a Walmart or any store and buy some pants and some shirt. But if you're traveling and your suitcase with the equipment gets lost, guess what? Production is halted. There is no money to be made. you look bad. So I decided that I was gonna start traveling with my equipment in the carry-on, and I started traveling with my equipment in a backpack. And the more equipment you add, in a backpack, I wasn't feeling it. So I'm giving it a shot. I haven't flown yet with this Pelican case. Let me show you. I haven't flown yet with this Pelican case, but as you can see, the size, and I don't know, let's see. Let me flip this here. So let me see, you can see it here. Boom. So it has nice dividers. Camera here, batteries and lens here, wire microphones here, wireless microphones here, Mavic, the drone batteries here, the drone remote and drone here, batteries and chargers here. Then here I have the Rode Video Mic Pro, a DJI Osmo, an H1 recorder, a tripod, and some other accessories. So if I'm recording with the iPhone, that are stashed there. And I also have other DJI Osmo batteries here, fitting the camera, holding the camera snug. Then here I have some cables, and here is for an iPad or a laptop. And the case is quite nice. It comes with a TSA lock and wheels and a handle. I'm quite impressed, and it's heavy. Plus, you know, it's a Pelican case. If you haven't owned one, I love Pelican cases. They are expensive, but they're pretty nice. So I wanted to ask Juan a few. Let me see. He's having problem logging in. Okay, he's having problem logging in again. I'm just resending the invitation via email. But I wanted to ask Juan. He did a wedding, and I wanted to ask Juan a few things about shooting weddings. I haven't shot a wedding yet, but I was thinking about shooting houses, 360 video for houses for real estate. Let's see that if he can give me any pointers on that. The G85 is because I asked him about the G85 because he has a G85, and I wanted to let's see. Oh, he's shooting in WhatsApp now. I think he's having problems. Oh.
There we go. Is that much better?
Yeah.
There we go. I was doing it over the phone, and then I think that was a bad idea.
That's okay.
Can you see me?
No, not yet.
All right, I'm trying now. Okay, there we go.
You know what? We missed something. Juan, for those that don't know you, do you mind sharing a little bit about you, your YouTube channels?
Yeah, man. So my name is Juan, and I am a graphic designer, web designer, and video editor. Been doing this for a little bit, and I really love filmmaking, making videos, video production. So I made a channel called Focus Media, and was focused on pretty much anything video. So right now we're doing a lot of product reviews, but we want to go more into like tutorials and hacks for not just filmmaking, but interviews, documentaries, video production, anything video, because there's just a lot of things when it comes to audio, video, lighting, editing. So we want to try to cover as much video production related.
And you have Focus Media, and you also have a blog channel, right?
Yeah, the vlog is really like a hobby. It's
Okay.
just me documenting, my kids' growth. I really believe that I was actually just watching a video of my daughter's first birthday, and the fact that we can go back and look at those videos, it's kind of like it's gold, man.
It's gold.
Yeah.
So earlier I asked you about the G85, and just I'm looking to buy a new camera to add a new angle. But if I buy but I was thinking, if you buy a new camera, why not buy a camera that you can record for longer periods of time, maybe another Panasonic, so you can match the same color. You know, so the colors are not too off, and I just put the settings similar. And I think I'm gonna go with the G85. It's just it's $1,000 with the kit, so it's not gonna break my bank. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. But right now, that's what I was looking for. The answer to that question.
So here's what I think, and let me tell you what I think about the G85, because I do get this question a lot.
Okay.
So here are the things that I do, because Panasonic is doing great things with their cameras, like amazing things. So, because like the G85 and the G7, they're very similar. Like, so the main difference is the IBIS, which to me is a big deal, because I do use my camera for a lot of documentary work, and that's incredible. And the weather sealing, which I don't care, because I don't even risk it, man. I pretend that it doesn't exist. If it's raining a little bit, I pull my cameras away, pull out a GoPro, or just don't shoot. But that camera, man, it's just Panasonic is doing something really good with their cameras. I don't know, what's your experience with the autofocus? Because I've seen a lot of people like cry about how bad the autofocus is, and I haven't had that experience. Me, it's been like, okay, it works, it's fine, I can work with it. But I don't know, what's your experience with the autofocus?
So I tried both lenses. I tried the kit lens on the G7 with the 14 to 40, and then with the 25 mil 1.7. And I do have a tendency to move forward and back when I talk, and that sometimes causes the camera to hunt a little bit. But it's nothing major like the Nikons that you have to wait until that camera is like, woo. However, it's not excellent like the Sonys. But I don't have a problem with that. You know, what? In my opinion, really, who cares if it goes out of focus for like a quarter of a second? And not even that, it's just like off. If the person is so bothered with the camera hunting, then open the aperture. You know, have a wider focus. But people want the bokeh and not hunting. But if the person moves, it gets out of.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't win with that type of thinking, but I've been playing with the focus. But however, because I shoot a lot with this background. Sometimes I blur it a little bit more just to change a little bit. Because in the other room that I used to shoot, I had what's it called, the paper gray background. What was the name? Can't remember the name of the paper now. It's a big gray rolls, and I could change sceneries just to things, you know, to swap environments. But to answer your question, it hunts, but it doesn't bother me. I notice it, but it's not like a deal breaker that I know what's causing it, and it's me. And like in the cases that I notice it the most is when I'm like, okay, familia, hey, and I'm very excited, so I get the camera to start hunting. But if the subject sits still or have a little bit of not a lot of movement, that's when I try to have the bokeh. It doesn't hunt, but if I'm conscious that I'm doing different angles, then I just open the aperture and, you know, crank up the light or have more light from outside, and that solves it.
Yeah, or you can always set the turn off the continuous and then focus with the app or your phone. That's what I like to do. And then if you really like that bokeh, you can just kind of set the focus with your phone. And if you were to move, just kind of check real quick, and like it's not that bad. But I was just wondering, because a lot of people do give Panasonic a lot of crap because of it, and I just think it's kind of stupid. It's kind of like the same thing, the people with the overheating with Sony. They give Sony a lot of crap for overheating, but we have used Sony's on some projects, and we really give this cameras, like, we hit them hard. This is not just like shooting little flowers. Like, we're going to the desert, and like this camera is just completely like worked fine. And same thing, because like I saw a video of a Panasonic, and this guy was like shooting a flower, and like the flower was like not focusing, and he was like, "Oh, this is crap." And I'm like, "Really, dude?" Like, we went on yeah, I was just like, you use like just manual focus, or just use your iPhone, man. Like, if you're shooting flowers on a sidewalk, like, that's ridiculous to using a GH5.
But let me tell you, Juan, I'm actually, I used to use the iPhone more to shoot, Instagram photos or, day-to-day photos, but I'm carrying the Sony more and more often, the RX100, because since I started putting more attention to Lightroom and I'm shooting RAW, I can mess with the colors.
Nice.
And so what I'm doing is I shoot a bunch of pictures, and when the kids are watching TV, I just pop it into Lightroom, and I just edit them all with one of the presets. I have a couple that I like, and I just export all that, and I put it on a folder called Instagram. Whenever I have time, I just upload it or share with the family, and they're already done. So it really doesn't take too much. I'm not an Instagram expert by no means, but what I'm trying to do in Instagram is letting people. I'm treating it more personal than a business. It's more like I'm letting you inside, like a behind the scenes, what I'm doing, family, happiness, personal stuff. But one day, what I'm doing is more Facebook. I'm putting more efforts on Facebook now. But eventually, maybe I take Instagram more serious. But let me ask you, Juan, I had a question about the wedding you shot. So, if I'm not mistaken, that was a family. You knew them, friends, or they were family?
No, they were family members. Yeah, family members. And like, they kind of asked me, it's like, "Oh, can you do this for us?" And I was like, at first I was like, I don't know, I kind of want to enjoy it. But then, like, it's a lot of money for a video. So I was like, I'll do the video. And so I kind of treated it like, okay, they're paying clients, And yeah, that's kind of like how I started that.
I'm assuming you look in Vegas, because you're in Vegas. I'm assuming you look how much other videographers are charging for weddings.
Yeah, I know about, like, pretty much how much people are charging, because I know people that do this, like, for a living, and it varies pretty much, because depending on because if you have a second shooter, how many hours are you going to be there? But like, for something like that, like what I did that day, we're talking about $800 to $1,200.
Okay.
And and I think, because that was a great experience, by the way. You go in there and you just learn every step of the way. You learn something by every mistake you make. And I actually want to put a second video, because the first video I posted was more about the camera, but I want to make another one about the logistics of shooting a wedding. But you learn every step of the way. So maybe once you do 4, 5, 6 weddings, like, now you feel like I have the authority to charge.
Got it.
Because now you're gonna be trying to cover every single angle and not make as many mistakes. Because I made a lot of mistakes, because it's the first time. It just was gonna happen.
What was the biggest mistake you think you made?
Okay, the biggest mistake. Okay, I think this is the one. I should have had, and I tried, but I couldn't find, because this was like in New Jersey, so I had to fly it over with all that stuff. But I should have had a second shooter. I should have had a second person, like prepare a second person, bring him over, give him a little training, give him a second camera, put him on a tripod, and because first of all, you can get second angles, and second of all, what I would have liked to I would have done is have one camera to shoot. Period. Just shoot. Just capture the moment, and then I wanted to give them this like nice produced video, and also I wanted to give them this raw, long 2-hour video or whatever hour it is, so they can just watch. You know what I mean? So I didn't do that because I didn't have that second person, and I had the gear, which is the thing that I'm most
sad.
Yeah, because I had the gear with me. I had enough cameras to have a second person just, bro, just do this, just get this angle, just stay here, watch the camera. So I think that's the biggest regret.
What was the hardest part?
The hardest part is being at the right spot at the right moment, because I've done other shoots where people you kind of control, like
I think because it was a. Do you think it's because it was the first time and you were more going with the flow and not directing people, or do you feel that you directed people to be where you wanted them to be?
You just can't tell people anything, because they have, first of all, they have the photographer, second of all, they have the people from the venue, and third, you have just everyone around. And like the people from the venue, they're like, come on, let's go, we have a schedule, we have to go. And then the bridesmaids and all the they're on their own, and then you're trying to tell them, okay, let's go, someone else is talking, you don't want to be. And it was funny because the photographer, I talked to her and I was like, oh, let's let's try to work together, like I'm not gonna try to be on your shots. But this girl, she had the tightest lens. I don't know, I think she was shooting on an 85mm lens, so she was so far away from everything because she wanted to get so she wasn't using a wide angle lens. And she wanted to get wide angle shots, so she was so far away from everything, right? So that means that I didn't have room to be in front of her or behind her, because I had a wide angle lens. So halfway through, like, to the show, I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm just gonna block your shots. I'm sorry. And she didn't like that, but like, what do you want to do? It's either you get your pictures or I get my video. You know what I mean? So, and then the other thing is, like, she was like pretty much hugging the couple for a lot of pictures, just a lot of pictures, and to the point that they got so stressed because it's your wedding, you want to enjoy the wedding, that I was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna do. I didn't do like because a lot of videographers, they like to do like a little video, then walk in wherever. I didn't do any of that stuff because I felt they were so stressed and they just wanted to sit down and it kind of like at least have a sip of water. And I was like, you know what, don't worry about it. I'll just catch as much footage as I can, as kind of like just following things around. And that, just the logistics of it, I've done many different shoots. I've covered different events, but this was like, and then again, it's like, this is like such an important moment on someone's life that you kind of like, you have that extra pressure.
What do you think was the biggest lesson learned?
Okay, so I think camera wise, I mean, like logistic wise, it's number one, it's go get the shots, screw everyone else. Like, really, like, because number two is try to get a second shooter if you can, try to put it on the budget, like ask them to pay for a second shooter. And then camera wise, okay, this is big. Bring a ND filter and get a nice ND filter, because the lighting was awful. Like, just the sun was just so awful, and I didn't have an ND filter, and that's a big one. And let me think, something else camera wise. You know, if you bring a drone, just get the drone shots before everything starts and get that over with. You know, you're not gonna be able to shoot a drone while the ceremony is happening.
Unless you bring a third person.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you have a dedicated drone person. But I think the best way to do it is just before everything starts, you take shots of the venue, and that's it. Like that's good enough to make everything. Because at the end of the day, the drone is just to make.
Yeah, to do like the establishing shot, to do like the establishing shot, and maybe some B-roll. I think that's a great idea. But the second shooter, it happened to me. I went to Puerto Rico and I flew. I took a bunch of supplies, and I left a few places. You know, when people donate stuff to you, you want to take pictures to kind of prove them that you know, it's your word, that you don't want anybody doubting you. So I went and I'm like, I'm gonna take pictures, I'm gonna take video. This is what I do. I'm good at it. But I left a few places without taking pictures. You're in the zone. You're thinking a few other things, and sometimes I miss great opportunities. So next time that I involved in any donation or relief or anything like that, I am not going to take pictures myself. I'm going to bring a dedicated person to take pictures and to do the video. That way I can concentrate on delivering or doing what I need to do. You know, I space out, Juan. You said that you shot other events. What other events have you shot?
Oh man, I've shot so many things. So I've shot like camps, because my dad is a pastor. Okay. So I shot camps for them. I've shot concerts. I've shot like galas, like little galas, and those were easy because you're just kind of capturing here and there. I mean, where we done model shoots, we done a lot of local events in Vegas. Yeah, I've done a bunch of different things, and that's kind of what I like, and that's why I like the G85. Honestly, like that camera, it's great for that. Like if you are covering events, and you were to ask me Sony or Panasonic or Canon, I will go with Panasonic because the IVES, the battery, and it's just a better camera for that.
Why you like the IVES so much on the Panasonic?
Because it works, and then the G85 has a 12 to 60, so then you get the double IVES, and it just works, man. Like I can show you videos with my Canon versus videos with my Panasonic, and the difference is just incredible. It's just like you pretty much all the shake is gone. And those are the two things that I hate about like cameras, like being out of focus or shaky footage. Those are the two things that and bad audio. But Panasonic just does it better. It's just, you know. So but then again, there are things that I would rather have a Sony or a Canon, you know what I mean? It's just like at the end of the day, I wish I had them all. Like, I want them all.
So let me ask you. So you said what you hate the most on a video is the shaky footage. You said shaky footage, audio, and what else?
And out of focus.
So for me, my pet peeve is when people do the walk with the camera and does that shaky footage. I'm like, oh, come on, why? And the one that bugs me quite often is the jump cuts. They don't look natural to me. So it's like it's like you're talking to a robot. It's like Philip DeFranco. For me, that's, I don't know. Think about the shot maybe a little bit more, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I think that's at the end of the day, I guess that's a personal taste on how you want to watch the video. You say ND filters. Do you want to take an ND filter to the next wedding? Do you use ND filters right now?
I do. I bought and I made a video about it because I like to buy cheap like accessories. But just for the test, because I wanted to honestly, like the video was like, can you use a $15 ND filter to make your footage better. And that filter worked, but like, you're putting a piece of glass on another piece of glass. You know what I mean? So if you're spending, let's say you're spending $500 in a lens, and then you put a $10 filter in it. So I think I want to buy another ND filter, but I want to buy a more quality, like a legit ND filter, which I can spend anywhere from $50 to $100, and I think I can get a better quality. But yeah, they definitely work, man. Because so this is what happens. If you want that bokeh, it's light, right? So you need as much light in your lens. So if you put too much light on your lens, you're gonna get overexposed. So the ND filter helps you block some light. You still open the lens, but you live in enough light. And I'm gonna say this, man. Everybody, I've heard a lot of people saying that with Micro Four Thirds systems, you don't get bokeh. That is not a lie. If someone tells you that, it's because they don't know how to use a camera. You can get beautiful bokeh from Micro Four Thirds, but you got to get a wide, like a fast lens, and then you got to put that filter in. And incredible, you get incredible footage out of these things.
I get really nice bokeh with the 25 mil lens.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm debating. There are 3 lenses that I want to buy. I want to buy the 20 just to have the. So I like to have the camera close to the subject, especially when I use a shotgun mic. So the 20 will allow me to be a little bit closer than the 25, and it's still 1.7. I want to buy a macro lens. I never bought a micro lens before, so I want to buy a macro lens for the Panasonic. And then I want to buy a long lens, like something that is like 600 or 800 mil long, just to see how.
Me too.
I don't know. I have a 300 mil. That's the biggest I have, but I might buy something like 600 mil long, just to see, to shoot animals or birds or nature, just to see, or stars. But probably I buy the macro lens before I buy the other 2.
You can spy on your neighbors too with a with a nice zoom.
But my wife's we put bird feeders in the back, and all kinds of different birds come and start eating, and I just lay in the floor and start shooting, taking some pictures, and that's relaxing. And something different. I don't know, something different, but I want to buy a macro lens before I buy anything else. I think that's my next lens. Do you have macro lenses?
I don't, and that's the very nice thing about Panasonic, and sounds like I'm selling you on a camera, but it's a great system. It has its problems, but the great thing about Panasonic is that you could buy nice lenses and not that expensive. So for example, there's an Olympus 45 to 150. So that's a 300. So it's 90 to 300. You can buy that lens for under $100 right now, which is insane.
What?
It's insane. On Amazon, and if you get it refurbished, you get that. And then Olympus, I like Olympus glass better than Panasonic, to be.
Why? I was trying to stick with Panasonic lenses.
I like Olympus. I don't know. They just have a different look.
Okay.
Now the flip side of it is that Panasonic lenses work better with Panasonic cameras because the autofocus is faster.
Got it.
So, but the look of it, I kind of like Olympus. I don't know. There's something about it because right now I have an Olympus. I have a 50 millimeter 1.7.
Yeah.
So that's my wide angle for indoor situations, and that's a very nice lens. But yeah, I don't have any macro lenses right now. But that's the nice thing about Micro Four Thirds systems, that you can buy really, really, really cheap lenses versus with Canon, the 75 to 300. It's huge and it's super expensive. So
So here it is. I bought the 25 mil on sale. It was like 150 or 140 something on sale. But I'm looking at the 100 to 300 mil for Panasonic, and it's 647. So that's equivalent to 600 of Panasonic. And then they have, let me see here. I'm looking at B&H, but you say Olympus?
Yeah, if you go to Amazon, maybe it's not there anymore, but they every once in a while they pop up the 45 to 150.
So the Panasonic that I'm looking, the macro lens is the 30 mil 2.8 with the stabilization. So that's the one I'm looking to buy. It's $297 right now. But maybe I'll wait a little. One thing that I'm going to pick up, I don't know if you used before, is in the G85 they have a battery grip that you can add extra additional batteries. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up that. And the other lens I was looking for, or I have in my shopping cart, is the 20 mil 1.7 version 2. So that's like a 40 mil.
Yeah, I thought about that lens. Are you planning on getting the kit, or are you just gonna get the camera, the body?
No, I'm gonna get the kit. The difference between the kit and the one with without the lens is not that much. If you buy the lens separate, it's gonna be more money.
Because let me tell you something, that the kit lens from the G85, it's my favorite lens of all time. It's a great lens. Like, that lens is so good. Like, I use it. The only thing that falls apart is in low light. In low light, it's not a low light lens.
So right now I have it here. It's $997, and if I pick up that and I add let me see, and I add the grip, which I want to buy. I want to buy the grip. It's going to be another. The grip is $347. So the total will be $1345 if I buy that right now. Maybe I wait until it comes out on sale a little bit. Let me ask you before we get sidetracked, because we can start geeking out about camera.
Oh my gosh, I want to buy everything.
Oh, that was my problem. You know what? That was my problem. But I wanted to. I used that as an excuse to shoot. Like, I needed this, I needed that, and I bought a lot of gear. But I think it's how you use it. And that's why at the beginning of our conversation, I said, I'm using more the Sony RX100. I can carry it everywhere. It doesn't take that much space. I have 3 batteries total. Actually, I have 4 batteries. Batteries. So I just take it. It's small and it takes great pictures. So and it's great at low light. But anyhow, you mentioned that your father is a pastor in Vegas. In Vegas?
Yeah, in Vegas.
You guys do live streams over there?
We've done live streams, yeah, but we're not all the time. But we do live streams, yeah.
What's your take on live streaming events? What have you done any live streaming events?
Yeah.
Not like we're doing now, like like in a church type deal.
It's great. I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible, and I think it's a great way to connect with people. People really respond to them. There's something that we're actually planning on doing more, but I think it's great. Like, live stream period, and the fact that Facebook kind of like bumps you up if you're doing live stream versus, you know what I mean? Or even like Instagram. If you live stream on Instagram, like, Instagram will kind of give you priority over other stories. I think that's incredible.
What equipment have you used in the past to do the live streaming?
Good old phone, man. Good old smartphone.
So phones, so smart devices. I was talking with a friend. He has a church in North Carolina, and I told him to test the Mevo, but maybe for us it's a little bit easier to use the phones or devices like the Mevo, because we are, that if we're going to do a live streaming event, we're going to record a video. That's our function. But if the person doesn't have a dedicated person that does the camera switching, it might be a little bit too difficult. So what would be your advice for somebody that is recording videos by themselves on a church or an event?
Well, I don't know if that's the same one, but I saw this device. I thought it was genius. So it takes a very wide angle 4K image, right?
Okay.
But it only streams to 720. So it takes this whole 4K to crop in and to kind of pan and zoom. Yeah. So because like what you're getting like 6 times like the image. Yeah. So and then you can have someone on an iPad just kind of like spinning and doing zoom ins, and so it looks like you have like 3 cameras, but it really is just this wide angle 4K image that is getting cropped.
I think it's called Stitcher Studio. I think it is Stitchers. Let me see, Stitcher Studio. I think that's the one that you're talking about. The Mevo does something similar. It records in 4K, but it only
it outputs in 720, which is fine.
Yeah, for Facebook and Twitter, and it's fine.
But what was I gonna say? I think that's what I tell people. Use your phone. Like honestly, like if you're just starting out, use your phone. Like phones right now are so powerful. I know there's a way that you can live stream with your camera into your computer. So you take the feed from the camera, you bring it to the computer, and the computer shoots it out. And I think you could just do it straight in. For example, Panasonic is coming up with a new software. It will bring the and Canon already does it. You can actually literally connect your camera and output it.
Let me ask you, Juan. Let me ask you. Do you really think? Okay, so let's take in before you answer the question. Let's take into consideration that your upstream speed for most household is below 10 megabytes. So that means that you really can upload 4K video image. The 1080p video image is not going to be as sharp. Do you think it's really worth the hassle to buy a Blackmagic device, a dongle, set up a camera in the tripod just to do a live stream versus maybe using a webcam? I'm shooting. Okay, normally I shoot with the Logitech the 920, which is 1080p. Today I'm shooting with the built-in webcam. Do you think it really matters? That hassle?
It depends. It really does, because let's say, because I am planning eventually, I'm doing like a live show on my channel, and I do want to have good audio. But who knows? Because I still have to try. Because maybe it just with good lighting, your phone will do just fine. You know what I mean? So, like really, like that's a good question. Like, does it really matter because literally you could just have like a phone with good lighting. That phone is gonna be able to do a really good job. But then again, I don't know how hard is it gonna be for me to connect the camera, connect it to the computer. If that's too much of a hassle, then like screw this. Like just go with the phone.
So I've talked to a few people because I thought about doing the same thing, and what they told me is that it works. The dongles are expensive depending on which one you buy, and it works, but you have to kind of, before every live stream, you need to test, because for example, if it's an upgrade on the software, then your Blackmagic device, for example, might not work it might not work with the system anymore, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. So, but for me, it's more like, okay, I started thinking about the technical details. Like, for example, most typical home internets don't have a huge upload. The only reason I would say it will make a difference is if you can record a high quality video simultaneously to the computer.
Yeah.
But if you just streaming with the phone, the camera, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But let me show you something. Now that you mentioned about have you used a ring light?
I don't have a ring light. I have the old school big lights.
So I have the old school big lights, but whenever I'm trying to minimize my footprint in the house and in the office, and sometimes I'm using this one more and more. The only thing is for us that we use glasses, we have to be mindful. This one, it was one of the cheapest ones. Is the newer one, or whatever, however you call that brand. But it comes also with a diffuser, and it's adjustable. And I put a Joby tripod for a Joby
the ball head.
A ball head. That way I can just snap it. It's the same one that I use in most of the cameras here. And I think I pay about $70 for it on sale. I think, but it's really, really nice. Really nice. So for minimizing the footprint, and with the iPhone, so the reason I brought this up is because if you are going to, I put the iPhone on a stand with the light, put the front-facing camera, because the front-facing camera is the one that you require the most light. It's the least powerful camera, but at least in the iPhone 7 Plus, it's a 1080p, so it's a good image. Yeah. So I put it front-facing, and it's a good quality. And the plus is, whenever I do a live horizontally, I can save the video locally, and then I can use it for other things.
Yeah, and like that's something that, and I was watching a video. I don't know if you've ever seen this YouTuber called Jason Vaughn, and he is a Sony like filmmaker, right? Okay. He does a lot of weddings, and he was talking about like how Sony is this like low light beast, right? But he was like, I don't use the A7S anymore because lighting makes a huge difference on anything. So he's like, I'd rather use a A65 and light my scene, and it's completely 20 times better. So same things with this. You can shoot with your phone as long as you light it. Like, look at right now. Right now, my image looks like crap, man. It looks horrible. But if I had a light on this side, lighting this side of my face, if I had maybe like an Omni light, or maybe if I like the background, it's gonna change drastically. So, like I always think about that, like, like all these cameras and stuff, like they're great. And plus, you gotta think about it. Facebook, they compress a lot. That's why they get away with live streaming, because they compress. So no matter if you can output 4K in the best camera, it's gonna get compressed. So like you're saying, doesn't matter. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it's gonna get compressed. And number two, if you light well, then maybe your phone is good enough, but you gotta put those, like, maybe like a ring light, maybe a couple lights on the side, you know what I mean? Like that because I'd rather have okay image, but laggy image, like what we're just having right now, when you're having that lag and like the audio like gets all cut out, like that's when people are like, I'm out of here. But if you have good, decent streaming, like that's 90% of the battle.
Let me ask you, Juan, talking about video and image, and what are in your opinion, let's say you go to a business in Las Vegas and the business is not doing video or not doing video well, what are the type of video you will advise that business to do?
In terms of ads?
No, like let's say to create awareness for the business. Like let's say, so yeah, you can use them for anything. It doesn't matter if they're ads or not. But my question, I guess, is more in terms to, if somebody approach you and they say, hey, I need a website, I need a logo, they really, what they want is they want to start creating an awareness to sell more their products or services. So what video would you advise that person? Would you advise them to blog? Would you advise them to do any other type of video?
I mean, it depends on their business, you know, it really does. But I think the one video that everybody needs to have, every business needs to have, it's a good testimonial uh, video explanation of their business, you know, like whether you're selling tires, where you're selling cars, where you're selling, I don't know, you know, use the restaurant. You want to have a video that just kind of like it's personal, like maybe the owner, maybe some of the clients, and I don't know, 60-second format where like I think everybody needs to have at least some type of media where it kind of like, because like honestly, that's what people are looking. They're looking at videos right now.
Let me ask you. People know that testimonials are good, and business owners, they know. But why do you think they don't collect them more often, or they don't record the video? What do you think is that? Like, for example, I have a new client, and they were like, you know what? Can you record some video testimonial because they are in North Carolina? That way I don't have to fly over there. But again, definitely I can fly over there. I was just trying to save them some money. They were excited. They were like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can record them. I send them a format, just some 4 questions to ask, and then I will do the editing. They didn't record any of them. But that's not the first client or the first person that I know. Like, I talk to other business owners and they're like, yeah, testimonials are good, I know, but they don't use them. They don't record them. What do you think is that?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, even at the company that I was working at, like we weren't utilizing video. I just think it's such an like new media. Like video, it is a new media, you know, because the way that video kind of exploded on Facebook. It's really like new right now, and the people that are taking advantage of it are the people that are winning. But then there's a lot of people that they take time, you know, adapting because they've been using affiliate marketing for too long. They'll be using blog for too long. They'll be using, who knows, maybe they're using billboards because that's what it's worked for them. So now when you bring in this new media for a lot of people, some people they like, yeah, let's do it. But some people they do take their time, adapt them to all those new media formats. So I guess it's just a part of us educating them in the process of like, oh, here, let me walk you through the video process. Because it is powerful, man. Like, I don't know about you, but like I feel like we are like a lazy generation where we don't read, but we listen to books. I don't read, man. I listen to books. I listen to podcasts, and I don't read blogs. I watch vlogs. And now the ads, like you don't read an ad anymore. You pretty much you watch the ad. Like you got people telling you on your ear, and that's kind of like the new media. That's kind of like speaking to our generation sometimes. So it's just, I guess it's us like educating. Yeah.
Here's a marketing question. You upload a video to YouTube. What's your typical routine or checklist or process after you upload a video? So to let people know that, yeah, you have a video uploaded. Do you just upload it and let YouTube do the thing, or you have a different process?
I kind of do that, man. I kind of do let YouTube work his magic. But so my checklist is upload the video. I put the tags. So I use TubeBuddy. I do all the tags. I do a description. So I do something, and I don't know. I might be doing some. I might be breaking the law, but what I do is like if I'm talking about a product, I go to Amazon and I copy and paste the description of the product.
Hey, that's, you know what I mean?
I don't change one thing. I just copy and paste exactly the description of the product, and even that link is from Amazon. So I'm like, you know, I don't think they'll be mad because people are buying their products, right? And then I do that. Then thumbnail. I always do the thumbnail, and then make sure that I have the end screens at the end. And then, you know, here's how I've been able to get a little bit of like whatever small growth, because I think my channel is still very small, very, very small. But whatever little growth I've been able to have in the 6 months that I've been working on it is because all of my products are related to all of my videos are related to a specific camera. So even if I do a microphone video, I always put in the title a Sony A6500, Panasonic GH5, Panasonic G85, Canon SL2. I always, on the title, I always put the names of those cameras because people, those are the hot items, the cameras. Those are where people are looking. People are not looking for a microphone just because. They're looking for a microphone for their camera. Or they're not looking for a lens just because. No, they're looking at a lens for the camera. So if you put, let's say, Panasonic 25mm lens, but if you put prime lens for Panasonic GH5 or G85, and then kind of like, I don't know, it's working for me in the sense of I'm kind of connecting the dots for people. And then that's another thing. If you put Panasonic G85, then you might see my lens video. Or if you look for the lens, you might see my camera video. You know what I mean? They're kind of like connecting with each other. And they don't even have to do the same brand. They kind of like, I kind of cross, because my videos, I've done Sony videos, Canon videos, Panasonic videos, and GoPro videos. So I try to like connect them all kind of somehow. So, and that's kind of what's working. I'm not doing anything on Facebook. I'm not doing anything. And if I do put on Facebook, I put it natively on Facebook. And I'm not doing anything on Instagram yet or Twitter.
So
I mean, I guess Twitter goes automatically.
So you don't share the link in social media or in other places?
Sometimes I do, but it's not like my number one thing. And I'm not like, because I know people that they go like every single group and they just post the link, post it. Like, I don't do that. Maybe I should. And I know people go on the forums.
Yeah.
Then maybe that's something I should do. Go to the Panasonic forums, and if I find something cool, I'm like, oh, here, guys. Like, I've done some tutorials on the camera, and I'm like, here, guys, because people ask you like for example, like that question of the recording limit. I've gotten it so many times, and
do you have a DJI Spark?
I don't have a Spark, and that's my number one video.
Yeah, I'm looking at your channel right now, and yeah. So do you borrow it? I haven't watched that video. Video.
I don't have a Spark. I never had a Spark. It kind of looks like it, but I put like a little glow around it, so it's kind of like, hey guys, this is like, because I didn't want to mislead people.
Yeah.
About like the Spark, yeah, but I've used the Spark, so I've had experience with the Spark. But the thing was that so it's funny. So this is what happened. there is a YouTuber called I don't remember, but this kid is like, he has like 10,000 subscribers, right? And he did a lot of Phantom videos. Great, like this kid is great. So when the Spark came in, he made a video, a rant, saying that like DJI was like scamming people with this new drone, and like that blew up on his face. Like, people are like hating on him because he made that video. So I felt so bad. I made a video responding to his video, just like, guys, just relax. The guy, he has his points. Like, maybe he worded it wrong. And the funny thing is that he came to my video and was like, oh man, thank you for like, thank you for like, cause like it's been hell for me. Like, because people got so mad at him, and then that video blew up. But I know my drones, you know what I mean? I know my drones. So just by looking at the specs of the Spark, I was just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the money. It is a cool drone. It's really cool, and if you have the extra money, go ahead, buy it. But in reality, it's not worth it. It's not worth $800 for like this drone when you can get the Mavic for like.
You have a Mavic?
I have a Phantom. I have a Phantom 3.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I have a Phantom, and I recently got the Mavic on sale. It was more like $200 off.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that flies like a baby.
That's what I'm saying. Like, So right now you can buy the Spark for $800, right?
It
Look at
flies
that.
like,
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
and so I have flown it twice so far, and it was high winds, so but the image quality was good. If taking off and landing really nice, so I'm in love with the phone. I can't wait to take it on a long, Caribbean shoot or something.
Hmm.
But compared to the Phantom, yeah,
But like for example, like so right now the Spark
yeah,
it's $800, brand new, right, with everything.
yeah.
The Mavic, I mean the Mavic is $1,000, right? Brand new with control and everything. But you can get it on the DJI store refurbished for $800 with everything, right? So pretty much for the same money you can get the Spark or the Mavic. The Mavic, I mean, the Mavic, it folds smaller. It's 4K and it has way more features. So I'm like, get the Mavic. I mean, because the Spark, it really is kind of like limited. It is limited, but it is a nice little drone. Like I've seen some footage, and I have friends that bought them, and like the footage is beautiful. Or you can get the Phantom for $400, and the footage from the Phantom is outstanding. You know what I mean?
The thing is, for me, the reason I was waiting, Juan, is because uh, when we flew, I had my kid, my oldest one, carrying the backpack with the drone, just so we could take the drone. So it took
Hmm.
too much space.
Yeah.
So with these, I bought the Fly More combo, and the bag is, I haven't used it, but the bag is really, really small. So I'll let you know the next time I fly with it, but or I take
It's
it.
great. That's what I think is gonna be my next drone. It's a Mavic. And it's gonna go down in price because who knows what they're gonna do next.
Well,
So
they released the platinum, which is
yeah,
supposedly flies a little bit longer and it's a little bit quiet, but I really don't. It's quiet. This drone is quiet.
yeah, it's pretty quiet, right?
I just gotta get used to the cinematic shot, like start flying again and refining the controller so whenever I rotate, it goes that
Mhm.
smooth.
Yeah,
I need to practice that.
yeah,
Um,
and I've been kind of like because I crashed it, I fixed it, and then I haven't been able to fly it as much because I don't have I need to buy a new phone because this phone really lags and it kind of becomes dangerous to the point that I lose connection mid-air. So I want to get a better phone to fly my Phantom. But like honestly, like it would never stop, man. Like let's say I buy the Mavic and then they come up with something else, the Super Mavic, and then you're like, oh, now I need that,
I,
it would never stop. It
I,
would never stop.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm itching to fly and inspire.
Oh yeah, I flew Inspires, and I'll be honest with you, man. Those things are too big. I mean, if you're shooting a movie, but it's just too big.
For the
It's
day-to-day user,
incredible.
right? For the day-to-day user.
Oh, it's beautiful. That thing looks like it's gonna kill you, but it's not an every. And plus, it's like $10,000. It's
Yeah.
like it's not an every, and it's not, and it's just kind of like the same thing. Like I would love to have a Sony Red, but I don't need that. I mean a Red Dragon, but I don't need that. It's like it's just like such an overkill. So
Have you shot on a Red Dragon?
never, 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 never. The biggest thing I've used is trying to think. I've used some of the bigger Panasonics, the Varicams.
I will be afraid to even rent a $50,000 camera.
It's honestly like the only reason why people shoot with those cameras is because they're really good for production, like time codes, and they're just a lot. They're production cameras. So if you're not shooting at production, you're not. That's why you see a lot of those videos like iPhone versus Red. Have you seen those videos?
Yes.
And like the image is the same. Like, yeah, of course, because who does it? Like, you don't see people vlogging with Red cameras or shooting like their families. It's a production camera. Take an iPhone and try to make a production with it, which people have done it, by the way. But take an iPhone and try to shoot a movie with it, and then you're gonna be like, man, this sucks. Like this really sucks because it's not made for that. But these cameras are made for that. They're modular, where you can build all these rigs. Man, it's just it will never stop. Man, like I told you, we could buy gear for eternity.
I think that's true. It's but I don't know. I feel so happy whenever I get a new piece of equipment. I'm like a little kid in a new toy store. Let me ask you, Juan, what will be your prediction? What do you think is going to change in 2018 on YouTube? What do you think? What are your predictions?
Like gear wise, like cameras or?
Any.
Okay, all right. Let me tell you about cameras because that's what I know.
Okay.
So Sony they're talking about a new camera, and they're talking about kind of like the A6700 or either the A9R. But what everybody's saying is the Sony is gonna come out with a flip out screen because it's so stupid. Their screen is so stupid, and I don't know. Have you played with the Sonys?
Yeah, well, not with the A7 series. I played with the A6300, and I have the small one, the point and shoot. This one, it's my favorite camera. The RX 100.
But if you look at the hinge and the back, it's so easy. They could just like literally like switch the screws and they have a flip out screen, and that's what people want. I think that's gonna happen this year. I think 4K 60 is gonna be on Sony because like because Panasonic pretty much has the lead right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's gonna happen in Sony. They're talking about an A9R, which maybe.
But this is another $4,000 body. Come on.
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't know because they also say like it could be an A7 III, A7S3 or A7R3 or A9R, which would be like their version of like the A9 video version. The A6700. I mean, because like the actual names of everything, they haven't really like disclosed that, but they're coming out with a camera, and everybody's talking about like a flip around screen. Finally, Sony's gonna go there because they need to.
But they do have one of the A series camera has a flipped screen, I think, but it's not.
That's like their lower line, like the A5000, which is a great camera, by the way. But so that's what I think is gonna happen with Sony. With Canon, they're talking about mirrorless. They're gonna do a full frame mirrorless camera.
Full frame mirrorless camera.
That's what they're talking about. I like Canon. Canon is in a funny place because the pros want 4K, but the average consumer doesn't care. So Sony's like, what do we do? Should we feed on the pros or should we keep on? Because that SL2, it's gonna sell like that camera is gonna be. I think that could be the camera of the year. The SL2 is gonna sell so good.
You made a good point there, Juan, because it was a couple of months ago. Every famous blogger was using Sony's, and then you saw that they took a switch, the majority, to Panasonic.
Even Casey Neistat.
Yeah, so I think the flip screen is going to draw a lot of these people back to Sony because the quality is really good.
Yeah, Sonys are great and they have autofocus, which Panasonic doesn't have. And then Canon doesn't have 4K, but like I was hearing that Canon sales are Sony, Panasonic. It's bigger than Sony, Panasonic, Fuji, and Nikon sales together.
Wow.
So Canon is like, we don't care, you know, but maybe they do like push the boundaries on this mirrorless because, and you know, I don't know, they're in a funny place. But now with and then that's another thing. How's the SL2 gonna sell? I think that camera is gonna sell so good. And how is the full frame camera? They I made a video about that too. Like the full frame the full frame camera, the 60D. I wonder how that's gonna sell. Now with Panasonic, they're gonna come up with a new camera, and I think it's gonna be a replacement for the GX8. And Panasonic needs to fix their autofocus, man, if they really want to compete. Even though the GH5 like over exceeded sales, like they expected to sell like around here, and they went like way beyond. It's like it's the camera of the year, you know. I don't know in sales, but like for the pros, like that's the camera that everybody's like.
Oh, you know, you have the dual SD card, you have the flip screen, you have everything else that people wanted. Yeah, do you think that they solved the problem with the firmware update?
No, they didn't. They didn't. They made it a little bit better, but they didn't fix it. And that's something that they need to get. They have to, if they want to be like taking care, like because here's the problem, man. The people that understand about cameras, the people that know how to use a camera, is a small part of the market. You know, if the big majority of shoppers, the big number of shoppers, they want automatic everything, and that's why Canon does so well. Because to me, if you want to shoot automatic, Canon, it's perfect. Like autofocus, exposure, everything. Sony's doing really good, even though it is a little bit of an annoying system, but Sony's doing really good. And then Panasonic, they need to get there. If they want to sell more cameras, they have to have perfect autofocus, because that's the people. People don't want to deal with manual focus. People don't want to touch the focus. People don't want to set, you know, it's the truth. And that's why a lot, even I've seen a lot of people, they're like pros on YouTube, and they're crying about the autofocus. I'm like, why do you care? I thought you were a professional. So yeah, so
I'm gonna come clean. I do shoot a lot in out of focus, but when I'm shooting interviews or I'm shooting inside an office, I do switch to manual. But for example, when I'm in out of focus, I do like my blogs are all in auto. But
yeah, me too. I love autofocus, by the way. I love it.
Well, whenever I shoot like a video, I try to be conscious about the lights and everything, so I make sure that everything is manual. So if it's a change in light or the light outside is, you know, you don't have that day to darkness switch. So I switch to whenever somebody's paying me, I take control over the camera and make sure that everything is set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and me too, man. Don't get me wrong. Like I am a big believer of autofocus, and it's good. And I think if Panasonic, because the problem is that, and I really don't understand this as much, but they're saying is the problem is that if they have to put face detection, they have contrast and phase, they have to work together. They're saying that the problem is that if they do that, they have to switch their sensors. So I don't know if, and so they're saying if we switch our sensors, like we have to switch pretty much all of our systems, which I don't know if that means that they have to move away from Micro Four Thirds systems, or that means that they just have to get a brand new, because all they really do, man, is like they upgrade their sensors. You know what I mean? They have a sensor, like the GH1 had a sensor, and all they do is they just made that sensor better, made it better, right? Until where they are right now with the GH5 sensor. So I don't know if what they're saying is we need to make a bigger sensor, which I don't know if that's the case, because, for example, your camera, that's a 1-inch sensor, and that has great autofocus, and that's a smaller sensor. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a smaller sensor.
I honestly don't know what's the size on this one.
That's micro four thirds.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So if they get to fix that, if they get to fix the firmware on I mean, if they get to fix the actual sensor to do better autofocus, or they get a better system for autofocus, then that's it. They will win. They will win because they have right now they have the best overall. It's to me is Panasonic with the GH5. That's the best camera overall, but the autofocus is the one that brings it down. So we'll see what they come up with, because it's all about money too, man. Because think about this: they have the GH5 as a $2,000 camera. If they fix the sensor, if they fix the autofocus on the next camera, that camera has to be more expensive than the GH5, because otherwise they will be like shooting themselves on foot. So I don't know. It's,
let me ask you. You said that you use TubeBuddy for YouTube. What other software do you like to use that help you or your business?
Honestly, for YouTube, I don't use anything else. I just TubeBuddy, and I barely use it. I don't even pay for it. I use the free version, and I'm thinking about paying for it because now I'm gonna go more serious. But I really don't use a lot of other tools. I mean, I got AdSense and AdWords and but like nothing else, man. In terms of like marketing tools, I'm not using anything.
What do you use to create your thumbnails?
Oh, I have Photoshop. Yeah, Photoshop. That's like I have because that's what I do. So I have the full Adobe suite. So I have every Adobe program to use.
Do you have a template to use? I see that your blue frame and text is similar in all of them. Do you have a PSD file already preloaded with that template?
Yeah. All ready to go. Pretty much just change the name and the picture.
It looks good. It looks sharp. It looks clean.
Yeah, it's funny. I stole that from someone. I stole that layout from like a friend of mine.
I use a similar one, but in the left side instead of the right one of when you're looking at the thumbnail. But I use Canvas.
The problem that I was having is that depending on what picture you're using, it's hard to read the text. So that's why I use the little block box. And yeah, I don't know what's the main because I don't do a lot of like clickbaity stuff on my I hate that clickbait crap, so I try not to do anything like, if the video it's about a camera, so thumbnail is a camera, you know what I mean? I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this.
Hey,
so,
let me ask you, earlier we talked about testimonials. Have you shot a few testimonials for other people?
Yeah, I've done a few. I want to do more.
What's your process?
Well, I like to, depending on the day and the area. If we do it outside, it's different. But I like to have 2 cameras. I would like to have like 3 cameras, to be honest. But I like to have a front camera and a side camera, so kind of like this. And if we're doing outdoors, so then we try to shoot in golden hour. And if we're doing indoors, I like to have them. I mean, depends on the room too. But if I have a room like this, I like to put a light on the background, so it will be kind of like this. All right, let me see.
No, I know what you're saying. Now
kind of like this, so you can have like a little light.
Yeah. Now that you talked about the light, I remember the name of the paper, Savage paper. Savage paper, that the gray one, because I put the rim light. Actually, I put a small light in the floor that lights the background, and it creates a separation.
Yeah. So then I want to know that, like, you see how this window is lighting? I like a light like this, like lighting right here, and then I have a light that just lights the whole room. And then I have this lavalier mic that I use. And on the Panasonic, I'm confident enough to shoot in audio in camera, 100%. I trust the camera. if I was shooting with the Canon, I would shoot it on the computer. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Oh, and then I try to have a backup audio.
Do you ask a set of the same questions, or you let them tell you different story all the time, every time?
Well, I haven't done any like testimonials, like raw things like that. Usually, there's people telling a statement about like, oh, here at Focus Media, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they pretty much they read the little script and we do it like 50 times. And oh, and then like the camera that's on an angle. I sometimes like to kind of with the tripod just kind of look up and down to kind of like, and then like a little bit of B-roll.
What's your favorite tripod?
Man, I don't care about tripods, to be honest. I bought one at a garage sale.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be like a professional tripod. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, they gave it to me like for $5 because it didn't have the little mount.
Yeah.
And then when I went on Google, I could find out like this tripod was like $300. It's a Video Master. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I got a great deal. So that's what I use. I do want a smaller one. I see you have one in the back. I want something like that, but
the only reason I got that one is because when you fold it, it's a Manfrotto one, and when you fold it, it fits really. It doesn't take a lot of space. It's the B3.
Yeah, mine takes a bunch of space. That's the problem with mine. But it's a great tripod, so I just kind of like don't even mess with the other ones.
So Juan, we talked about weddings, cameras, softwares, interviews, testimonials, lessons learned from weddings, you know, what you do after you upload, ND filters, live stream. Man.
Too much, man. We talk too much.
No, I think it's I think having conversations like this is good because, you know, you answer a couple questions that I had, and I think, you know, I think conversations like this are useful, not just only for you and me, but anybody that watched the video. You know, they might maybe have a question, and maybe our topics are more advanced than, you know, normal conversation because we're geeking out. But at any given point, somebody's going to be either ahead or, you know, a little bit below than us, or sometimes equal. So the questions are the same. They got to go through the same process: uploading, recording, blah blah blah.
You know, and maybe one day we can just kind of like just do one topic and we go like deep into that topic, because everything that we talked about, you know, goes deep, man. Like, we want to talk one day just about YouTube. I can talk for hours about like my experience right now, and I even have a bunch of questions. And you probably, you know, you've been doing YouTube for a while, so we can narrow down one topic. Or if you guys want to talk about cameras, like,
let's do it. So
yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna push in the spot right now. Let's pick a date. Let's talk about YouTube. You want to do it in your channel? Or you want to do it here?
We can do it here. We can do it here. Here's fine. And, you know, like we can have a chat on Monday, and then we can pick a specific topic. There's just so many things we can talk about, tech related, and YouTube, social media related.
Let's talk about YouTube. So what day is good for you?
You know, Mondays is good, but next Monday I'll be all good.
The 23rd?
Yeah, perfect.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be in my house on Monday.
Your house. So you know I'm here if you want to chat me off camera. Right now I gotta bounce. I gotta pick up the little one, but I think, you know, being in the house, being a what I call a stay-at-home dad, getting to do breakfast and taking the kids to school and picking them up is one of the greatest privilege I can have right now.
Yeah, I'm turning into a house husband. My wife
is not bad.
My wife is calling me the real house husband of Las Vegas.
It's not bad. It's not bad. My wife, even if I tell her to stop working, she will not stop working. Right now she's doing her. She got hired in a hospital, so she's doing a drug test right now and doing some other stuff. But I love it. You know, having that bond with the kids is priceless. So, so 23rd October, YouTube, just YouTube. So I promise I will not talk about anything else but YouTube.
Yeah, and you know, in I don't know if people are watching right now, but if they have like, you know, feedback or questions, or you know, we can make this into like a little show, Monday show.
So what I do is for the next one, I will promote it heavily, and I will invite people to ask questions about YouTube. And if they can attend, then I will ask them to submit the question. But you know,
Yeah,
this one being our first, I think it was like you said, more about, you know, getting to know each other more and having a different conversation and maybe learning each other's style. And
definitely.
yeah, overall, I think it's a great conversation that you and I can have. This
Yeah,
conversation we have today, we could have in person with coffee, and it's like nothing. It's, you know, no specific agenda, no script. It was just a good conversation.
yeah, definitely, man.
I do appreciate you answering the question about the G85 because I'm buying it.
It's a good camera, man. It's a good camera. I could go all day because I love all the systems. You know, like if like that's the thing about me. I'm not a fanboy. You know, if you tell me I want a Canon, I'm like, go for it. If I want a Sony, go for it. You know, personally, go for it.
I'm a fanboy of
iPhone.
yeah, Apple.
Oh man,
Apple.
I used to use Apple a bunch about a while ago. I just can't. I give up.
You know what? We can do another Monday show because I used to be an Apple hater. I used to be an Apple
Really?
hater big time, and I got a guy convert me in 2008, 2009. I bought my first MacBook Air, and then I haven't looked back since. But that could be another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be another one. Juan, I appreciate your time. I will edit the first part before you know, the drop of the video, and then I will post it again, and I'll send you the link. And I appreciate your time. If it's anything I can do for you, you just reach out. You got my number. You got
All right, man.
social media. Just send me a link, and talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, bye.